This video is going to be going over writing with ease curriculum, and it is how to teach your kids how to write. So it says here, take the guesswork out of teaching writing used along with the core text. Writing with Ease Workbook Level 1 provides every copywork lesson, dictation, assignment, and reading passage you will need to direct your child in a year of study. So these uses the passages from classic children's stories. Now let me share with you what some of those are. So for week 1, Little House in the Big Woods by Laura Ingalls Wilder. And you can just go and kind of browse through here and pause if you need to. See all the different stories that they cover for book number 1. For week number 1, it shows you what the focus will be. For example, here it says beginning capitals and ending periods and day 1. The week is divided into 4 days of work, and it also tells you on the right side the student page that your student is to have on hand. All the student pages are available in the same book. It just happens to be on the other half of the book. So for example, week 1, day 1, copywork, student page 1, and it tells you right here what you are to say and what you are to do. Day 2 continues on to the next page, and it has questions for you to ask your students in regards to the reading. And then day 3 has student page 3, again focusing on the beginning capital and ending periods for this week. And here is day 4. And then week 2 begins for the following week. And that lesson is capitalizing first proper names. If you notice, after it tells you to pull out student page 5, it tells you to write the student's name and date for her as she watches or asks her to write the name and date independently. So a lot of this workbook is modeling for your students how proper writing is supposed to be. So there's going to be a lot of modeling in here, a lot of questions, answers. It's a great mix of everything from grammar to reading comprehension, and I think it's really worth it and enjoyable, and it's not very tedious. And if you have someone who's a reluctant writer, this may be the way to go, because it gets some reading done as well as writing as well as grammar all in one book. Moving a little further on the book, you will see here week 9, day 1. The focus is capitalizing first proper names and names of states. It tells you here student page 33. Pull out student page 33. Write the student's name and date for him as she watches. And then these are the 2 model sentences that you will be writing on the student page. If you think that your student is capable of writing themselves and know the proper technique in writing, you can have them do it themselves. But for the most part, Susan Wise Bauer likes to make sure that kids know how to properly write letters, because she believes that it's harder to undo improper ways of writing. So this is the student section of the book. This is student page 33. So you will see here the sentence, the school bus honked from the road, and you can go ahead and write that for them, or they can write it themselves. And then here the teacher asks her to name the capital of Pennsylvania. That would be copy work. And then day 2, there is a question that's posed here. What is one thing you remember about the passage? Again, you can write what they say to you, like dictation, or you can have them write it themselves. But for the most part, she recommends you writing what they say, and then they have the space here to rewrite what they've told you after watching you write the letters properly. Day 3, they pull out sentences from the story. Again, you can write, and they can watch you write before they write themselves, or they can write it themselves. Here for day 4 of the same week, you can see that they ask, what is one thing you remember about the passage? that is working on the comprehension of the passage that was read to them. This is where you write what they say, and this is where the student writes what they've said. And then you go on to the next week, a new story. Week 36 is evaluation. The week's assignments are designed to evaluate the student's mastery of this book before moving on to level 2, which is this book. The goal is to be able to copy a 10-word sentence without error, accurately answering questions about a 3 to 5 paragraph passage, and answer the question, what is one thing you remember about the passage, with a complete sentence. So let me show you what that looks like in the students' portion of this book. So here is week 36, page 1, having the ability to write all of this without any mistakes. And this, being able to answer what the story was about. For page 2 and for page 3, being able to write this as well. Parents can write, or the child can write all on their own. And lastly, following what you've written by answering that question right there, which is, what is one thing you remember about this passage? Watching you write it, and the student's able to rewrite it without any mistakes. And that is the end of Workbook Level 1, Writing with Ease by Susan Wise Bauer.